Alright guys, how's it going? So as you've seen, we've been got the John Deere out. I worked up the trail yesterday because we were getting weeds along the edge. It was okay in the center, but on the edges it can get pretty ugly. So I was going to let this sit for at least another day, but there's a chance of storms this afternoon, and I figured, well, it's probably not, I mean, rain will be nice, but it's not going to be good for this dirt, because this dirt obviously hasn't been smoothed out yet. So, but I was kind of forced to do it today because of possibly storms. And then up there in Canada, just right over the border, they're in for a freaking tornado watch. So there are storms coming, but some of them are kind of small. They're not that big, but you know, they're still going to kind of come this way. But I don't know, it's a little uglier than before. I don't know, it's just can't quite pinpoint why this is so much uglier. When I pulled it with Big Red, it always seemed to be pretty good. Like, yeah, you would get like little piles of dirt on the edge, you know, or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know if it's because with Big Red, when you pull with Big Red, you're pulling up higher, and the John Deere, you're pulling basically just flat. Because in some areas, wherever the dirt was like really, really loose, the damn thing would, you know, the trail smoother, it's like it would dig in. So it's basically like you're freaking plowing dirt, you know. It's like you're getting ready to seed a crop in or something, you know. And then you got big freaking mountain piles of dirt that you got to try to go back over again. And then the front of that, you know, it's just getting buried, you know, filling it with dirt and whatever. Now I think I have 3 gallons of water in there, so maybe it's a little bit too heavy now for the tractor, but yeah, if you pulled it with Big Red, it was fine. And then when I pulled it with the Farmall, it was fine. See, again, they're up a little bit higher, you know, their drawbars are up a little bit higher. So I think when you're pulling on them, you're also pulling up at the same time. So maybe that's why it would never really plow in. But some areas it would plow in. So, but then you also, if you check the dirt, especially in the shady spots, the dirt was a little bit like more wet. But mind you, it's only been like 20 hours since I turned this over. I turned it over yesterday, you know, and it's about around the same time. So, you know, I don't know, but it just hasn't had much time to dry. And then that's probably another, see, like, this is a big chunk and it's all wet. And like I said, I was going to let this sit for another day or two, just to give it some more time to dry out. But they're threatening those storms, and I was like, well, it's either now or never. If it gets wet, then it's going to be sitting for 2 weeks before you can even do anything with it. So it's not pretty. It's not to where I would like it to be, but it's, I don't know, I guess if we get a I guess if we get a good rain or something on it, it'll pound some of this in. But that's about as good as it's going to get. It'll get better. Like once I drive in here a couple times with Big Red and I get a trail going, then if you ever wanted to walk down here, well, then you could just walk where Big Red's tracks would be at, because that's what's going to probably be the smoothest, or wherever the John Deere drove. But it's just crazy. But I think it's kind of a mixture of everything. That's why it wasn't going great. The tractor's hitch is too low. There's too much weight in it now for that style of setup, and the dirt's a little too tacky yet. It needs probably like another day or two to even dry. But it wasn't going to get that if they're threatening rain. If they weren't threatening rain, I probably wouldn't have done it. I would have waited until maybe tomorrow or something, and then let it dry a little bit more. But I don't know. It'll last for now. It's it should be fine now for a good month, a good chunk of July now. So yeah, I gotta try to get more diesel fuel too. I'm getting kind of low, and I had to work up the south garden too, because that was getting awful weedy. But we don't have a tiller, so weeds grow like crazy. But I managed to destroy a lot of it, and then whatever I couldn't get with the cultivator, I'll go and get that by hand, and then the garden should look okay. But there's not much in there anyway. We actually ended up reseeding watermelon and pumpkin. That was one of many other things that didn't come up for whatever reasons. So my grandma actually she had some seeds, like you get lots of seeds in a package, but she soaked a few of them this time. Last time we just went directly into the dirt and watered them that way, but supposedly you can kind of cheat a little bit, and if you soak them in water for a day or two, I guess it's supposed to kind of help boost their energy or whatever. I don't know. It helps them want to grow. But we're running out of time, so this is the last seeding that we can do with that. If they don't come up, then it's game over for the season. So, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I'm not 100% happy with this, but I guess it's better than nothing. Like I said, I think it did better when he pulled it with Big Red or the little Farmall. But yeah, I could have pulled this with Big Red. But the problem with Big Red is that you have to be at like half throttle, so like, one, Big Red's loud because his exhaust system's all fucked up, it's no good. So, and two, you're limited because it doesn't charge the battery. So I would have gotten 2 or 3 rounds in, and then the battery would have been done. So then I would have had to go home, plug it in, and then, well, if I did it with the maintainer, it'd be a few hours, but I probably would cheat and just use the big battery charger, let it go for 15-20 minutes. But then, you're still wasting time, at least with the John Deere or the little Farmall. You could just keep going and going and going. The only time you were stopping is whenever you had an issue. But the Farmall, obviously, it doesn't run. I mean, it's the carburetor's a joke, and then of course there's now the starter, I guess, threw up or whatever. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. So so that tractor's done for the year. I'm not going to put any more money into it. I can't, because I got to do other stuff. So that tractor's going to be done for the rest of the year, I think. unless somebody's willing to donate some money. But other than that, it's done. So I figured, well, the only thing that's freaking still reliable around here is the old John Deere. But you know what, the John Deere's limited too. But the only thing it would be limited in is traction. It's got the horsepower, it's got the torque, but traction's an issue because, you know, it's got those turf tires on there and it's only one-wheel drive. Unless you hit the diff, then you get two-wheel drive. But there was a couple times I thought I was going to have to hit the diff lock to give me a little more pushing or more pulling power, but no, I didn't need it. And then there was a couple times, I don't know what the hell was going on there. Maybe I wasn't paying attention, but it's always the same spot too, way down there. But there's those ditches over there, and I don't know if I just don't pay attention or what. But then I end up almost going into the ditch, and then, well, there's no way to really pull myself back out of that ditch, especially pulling that thing behind. So you had to. If you didn't catch yourself, before going in there, and you went in there, it was mash the pedal as far as you could to the floor and just pray that you had speed to get you out. Especially that one when you went north, that one on this side, it was a really sketchy cocksucker because it was straight down. Never had that problem with Big Red, but with John Deere, I guess I'm not paying attention as good as what I am with Big Red. I don't know. I mean, this was kind of new to use the John Deere, but I just wanted to try it, and I just wanted to get done and not, worry about battery life. So the John Deere had no problem doing it. I mean, whenever it started plowing in, especially really good there at times, traction started becoming an issue. But it seemed like if you just mashed the pedal down and you just try to get a run at it, you seem to power through it, not having to hit the diff lock, So, but I don't know. I think a Harrow is your best bet for down here, especially if you want a nice, squeaky, clean, or smooth. Like right here, this is what I'm going after. Like, this is really good, but that's because the dirt here is harder, so it's not digging in. It actually does float here. And all the loose dirt was obviously pushed off to the sides, but that's kind of what I was going for, something smooth like that. And you got that at times, or most of the time, even with Big Red, it did pretty good. But see, again, I think because I'm pulling up a little bit while I'm dragging it, it doesn't plow that deep. So, but with the John Deere, I'm pulling basically flat, so then the thing can actually dig in more. So I was kind of thinking that maybe, depending on if I'm going to keep using the John Deere or not, maybe drain some water out, maybe take like a gallon out or something, get it a little bit lighter, just to see if maybe it'll help with getting the thing to float a little bit better. But now it's going to be probably a couple of weeks or so before I even have to do it again, so I'm not going to worry about it. This will all just kind of ever so slightly smooth out, and then from a good rain or something, and then driving on it, if I take Big Red down here and run over these windrows of dirt, you'll never even know that they were there, because it'll just be mushed in. So that's what I'll probably have to do if I want to get it, right to how I want it, So, but I don't know. At least piece of glass. At least it's good enough for now. It's just yeah, it's good enough. It'll have to be. The main thing was just to get the weeds out, which I already did that. I did that yesterday. But I wanted to give it at least one more day to kind of dry out. But it's not going to get that because they're threatening rain. We probably won't get anything, but you never know. So I don't know. It did all right, I guess. So I'll just roll on with it again next time I want to do it. Like I said, I would have pulled a little farm all with it, but that's pretty much done for the year. So it's really up to Big Red and the John Deere to maintain this trail now. So if I really wanted to, I guess I could go over it again with Big Red and get it really smooth, I guess, but I'm not going to bother. I think if you get a good rain or something on it, it'll push it all pretty much back into the dirt. You know, it'll push it smooth and maybe you won't even notice hardly, but main thing, the weeds are down. And it'll be all right. So you can walk on here and not get poison ivy or something stupid like that. So, but whatever. So I guess that's pretty much it then. Head home and call it a day on that. Maybe find something else to go do, I guess. But kind of just a day I want to take off. I don't feel like doing much. It's getting to be kind of windy too, so you know, it's probably feeding all those storms up in Canada. So what do you do, right? So, but yeah, I guess guys, I'm going to take off. I'm going to head home and take care of some other stuff, and yeah, guess that's pretty much it then. So I guess anyways guys, I'm going to take off. So I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. Take her easy.